Hello, Braves Country. It's Coach Ken Anderson coming to you from Lord Almighty. We won a series. Our first series we won since Milwaukee, only our second since the beginning of June. So, Ryan, do I even have to ask how you doing tonight?
No, great, buddy. I couldn't even keep my excitement in at work because we won a series. I didn't even know that was possible. The entire month of June, I didn't think it was possible. So I was doing great, man. How are you guys doing?
Yeah, same
Yeah.
for me. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling positive. I'm liking everything that I see. I like when we win series because Braves Twitter is not a disaster for the most part.
Yeah, I hate watching some of that. I mean, no offense, Atlantaholic. It's in the bottom of the seventh inning or something like that, and you're already saying, I can see Iglesias is going to blow this game. Well, stick it up your rear, Atlantaholic. He didn't even pitch today. We'll get to that in a little bit. So let's get to the series. We did. We won our first series since the Milwaukee series, and it's our first series that we've won on the road since May. It's been a while. So we get to game one. This is not the part we won. So we lose 12-4. First thing we're going to talk about is Mr. Waldrop. So we worried about Hurston being a little pumped up. He was. He was getting in the strike zone, and he could not command his curve or splitter. And the one guy he definitely couldn't command it to was Ryan O'Hearn, who had 3 homers and 10 RBIs. He had 2 of his home runs off of Hurston, both off of hanging curveballs, Ryan. It just wasn't Hurston's day, was it?
No, Hurston didn't have control of anything, anywhere from the sinker, anywhere from the four seamer. The split was horrible. The curveball, slider, he couldn't locate anything. And then when he finally threw it in the strike zone, it was right down the middle because he just had to get a pitch over the plate. And on the note of Ryan O'Hearn, he is the first player in Major League history to drive in their team's first 10 runs of a baseball game. Keep that in perspective for a second. This game's been around for centuries, and he's the first player to do that. So pretty impressive for Mr. O'Hearn. Congratulations to that. But yeah, this is what I was worried about when Waldrop came back, and I made it very well known. I was like, we cannot pray that Waldrop is going to be our savior because he's coming off an elbow surgery. It's going to take him a while to get his feel and touch back, and he didn't have it in this game. That's for sure, Ken.
Problem is, he only had 3 rehab starts. And I think they're going to be a little smarter with AJ Smith Shawver as he tries to work his way back. We're all excited because we get to see AJ pitch Saturday in Gwinnett. It'll be his third. So I think they're going to wait 4 or 5. We had to rush him back because of the pitching staff, Aaron. It's really probably just rust. You haven't lost faith in Hurston. You just know it's going to be like this for a little while, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that a lot of the rehab assignments have been rushed this year. I mean, I know that they have a valid reason to do that with Drake, with Hertzen, but at the same time, what is the risk assessment here? Like, what's the risk versus reward of bringing them back so soon? Obviously, we've seen with Drake, it's taken a long time for him to get back to caliber, and same thing with Hertzen Waldrop. I mean, what's it going to hurt if the team can hold their own for a couple of more games for these guys to get fully back up to where they need to be? As far as I know, like Chipper Jones is one of the only Braves in recent history that could return from the IL and, get himself corrected in 2 or 3 games. We can't, Chipper Jones is, in a league of his own with that kind of thing. We cannot rush people back. We have to let them fully recover. And I do think that they're going to take their time with AJ Smith Shawver, and I hope that they do.
Kipper and probably the other guy was Freddie Freeman, and both of them are going to be in the Hall of Fame. So we got to stop doing that. But Ryan, I think they have learned their lesson. There's no rush to get Ronnie back this time. There's no rush to get Robert Suarez back, and there's no rush to get AJ Smith Shawver up here. Do you think the Braves have kind of said, okay, we've learned. We're just going to have to go through these losing streaks while we get our guys healthy?
Yeah, it seems that I'm not one for giving. Look, they know a lot more of the medicals than I do. Grade one hamstring strain, I don't think should take that long. But I will say this is his second go around with it, so it's understandable why they're being so cautious with it because they desperately need Ronald to stay healthy for the rest of the year. If y'all haven't realized it, we've been maybe a 500 team since he's been down. I don't even think we've been a 500 team since he's been down. So we need that dude back in the lineup, and he is the anchor at the top that gets this thing churning in the right direction. So I would hope so, especially pitching wise, man. Can you know this? It takes a while for guys to get their feel back, especially after elbow surgery, and they got to get that whole process rehabbed. I mean, you got to get your range of motion back. You got to get your strength back, not just in your elbow, but your forearm, your forearm flexors, your extensors, your bicep, your tricep, your shoulder. You got to rehab all that. You got to get all that back on par, and it takes a while to build that up. Then you got to build the endurance up. Like Waldrop, he was rushed, and so it's going to be a while before I mean, you're looking at mid to late August before Waldrop's probably comfortable again on a big league mound, and that's a early estimate in my opinion. So hopefully they take their time with AJ, and they just let him go down there and pitch a while.
I agree. I mean, he won't make a good start here and there, but really get back to what he was last year, it'll take a while. Uh, everybody, there's not everybody. A lot of people on Twitter want to get that Ronnie doesn't mean a lot to us. They are 9-17, Ryan, since he went out. Aaron, Ronnie is a very important part, and getting him back could really bode well for us in the second half, don't you think?
Yeah, I 100% agree. The stats don't lie. Obviously, the record doesn't lie, and I don't care if he's not MVP Ronnie right now or All-Star Ronnie, what have you. There's something that he brings to this team that obviously helps him, whether he is the one carrying it or not. Like we have to have him back. I think once he comes back, we'll see, a great turnaround and more consistency out of everyone.
I think the biggest thing is everybody doesn't realize that Ronnie's not 2023 Ronnie, and they're scared to death when he's up at the plate. So that helps us. So let's talk about this guy here. We got a video on Ryan. He really did what we needed him to do. He got called up. Connor Thomas, got to give him some love. He's a fellow Jacket, and he's also a fellow Georgian guy. He's from Tift County. He went out there in 8 innings for us. He did give up 4 runs in his 4 innings, but we'll take that all day long. He did what we needed him to do. Thumbs up to Connor Thomas. What about you, Ryan?
Look, it's not like he went out there and did a superb job and held the team down and gave us a chance to win, right? Like that, he got hit around. He gave up some runs, obviously, right there as you see, her and absolutely jack a ball out of the ballpark. But he ate the game up, man. He allowed us to rest the big arms back in the back end of the bullpen, which really helped out the next game. So tip of the hat to Mr. Thomas there, Tift County 229 represent right there, and good job of holding eating the innings for the guys, because that, I'm telling you, there's nothing much more appreciated than that for those guys in the bullpen who go out there every single day than somebody coming in and giving them a blow, even if it's in a blowout and the game's not close. Somebody's got to cover the innings, and he did it, and that doesn't go unnoticed on those guys in the clubhouse.
Yeah, that's really huge. And Aaron, as far as the hitting side, Michael was 2 for 5. Olson was 1 for 4. Mauricio was 2 for 3. Austin Riley was 2 for 4. It was the one game he had a really good game in these 3 games. Hitting wise, though, we did let Paul Skeens settle down, and he looked better this start than he'd been looking. And I'm not sure even if Connor wouldn't have gave up the runs, we would have come back in this game. How about you?
Yeah, I think Paul Skeens was due for a rebound after the steady increase in ERA that he's been seeing over the past 9, 10 games before playing us. So, it just kind of landed in his favor with playing. I'm not necessarily because he was playing us. Obviously, it was just a matter of time before he bounced back. Like if this was a different team they were playing this series, I'm sure that it would have the same result. So yeah, I agree. I think that, it is what it is.
Yeah, I think it's a game that we're going to lose. And once the second home run, once Hearn hit the second home run, the 3-run shot, it was probably over at that point. So let's move on to game 2, and we'll get into the next Georgia Tech guy in a little bit because he helped us win a game. But we're going to start with Grant Holmes. All of us talked on with either text messages on the phone. We really needed Grant to go out and make a start. And boy, did we not realize how much we did. And we'll get to the guy on the other side. But Grant gave us 5 innings, no runs, 3 hits. Again, only 1 walk. And we keep saying if Grant won't walk people, he can get guys out. He had 5 strikeouts. The reason he had to pull him at the 5th, though, again, a lot of deep counts. This counts, it wasn't because it was ball. The Pirates fouled off 29 pitches in 5 innings. That's a lot, guys. And but overall, Ryan, we needed Grant to do something, and Grant showed up for us, and that was huge.
Grant gets one of these, Ken.
Yes.
He gets you one of those right there. I mean, you went out there, you bullied your way through 5 innings, you kept the scoreless, you matched the dude. He was perfect pitch for pitch. By the way, for everybody on Twitter who said I was a fool for thinking Jared Jones could come shove it up our rear ends because he had a 5 point something ERA, well, there you go, there, boss. He shoved it up our rear ends for 6 innings, and he was perfect. So for Grant to go out there and match that pitch for pitch and keep this team in the game for as long as he did and hand it over to the bullpen, and I'll tip my hat to Walt too. He was very aggressive this game. You got the best that we had in the bullpen because he wanted the game, and we needed it. And those guys came in and shoved it and gave our offense a chance. And to your credit, your Georgia Tech native Ken gave us the big knock that really kind of accelerated us to the win in this game. So all in all, really good start from Grant. We needed it desperately. I texted you this game, or we talked in the morning. We were like, yeah, it's a big game for Grant. Grant's got to go out there and give us 5, 6 innings and shove it up their rear ends, and he did that. And it might have been one of the biggest turning points back in the right direction for the Braves.
Yeah, speaking on that, we talk about it. Never such thing as a must-win game in July in baseball, Aaron. But there are very important games in July that you can point to. This will be one the Braves can point to if they win their division. They give the bullpen stat, and you can talk about the pitching overall. The bullpen, Dodd, Lee, Fuentes, Iglesias, 4 innings, 1 hit, 1 walk, 6 strikeouts, lights out. They're the best back end of the bullpen in baseball for 4 of them. And Aaron, tremendous pitching job by the Braves tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. I was really impressed. I think this is like one of Grant's best starts this season, if not
Yep.
his absolute best. I was so impressed with that. It was so nice to see, I mean, obviously not on our end having a no-hit game for that long, but we turned it around. But seeing Grant being able to pull that off and stay in as long as he did, I was really worried, that he'd be getting pulled in the fourth or something. You know how it's been with our starters. We can't keep them in past the fifth inning, which is taxing on the bullpen. So for him being able to stay that long and then the bullpen coming in and being lights out, it was just beautiful.
It is. And real quick, let's give some love to Jared Jones. He went 6 innings, perfect game. Ozzie breaks it up in the seven off of Mason Montgomery. Tell you how much the Pirates thought this game was important. Mason Montgomery's been closing for them lately. So they put him in a spot 0-0 in the seventh in a perfect game to get through, and Ozzie broke it up. But the big question is, because Yuri Perez got pulled after 6 innings of a perfect game, I'll get y'all's thoughts on it. What do you think about these teams? It's a new era of baseball, not letting these guys go out in the seventh inning where their pitch count is still kind of manageable. I think Jared was at 77, and I think Yuri is at 83. So, Ryan, what are your thoughts on that?
Jared Jones is understandable. The kid's coming off elbow surgery. So I understand that. He didn't like it. He stormed out into the tunnel, and Don Kelly had to pull him to the side. But I look, it's bad for the game. I'm just gonna keep it a buck. Like Yuri Perez, I don't think he's been injured at any point here recently. He's been pitching for the Marlins. There's no reason why he can't go out there and throw 110, 115 pitches and try to go for it. Like you should have let him. Like perfect games. How many perfect games have there been, Ken? Do you know by chance?
27.
27 perfect games in the history of Major League Baseball. And you got a guy that goes out there and has a chance to do that. That's special. That's what really draws a lot of attention to the game of baseball. I think it's very disappointing that it doesn't happen. Again, I'll exclude the Pirates and Jared Jones because of the situation with his elbow and he's coming off that surgery. But there was real no reason for Yuri. I don't think. I don't recall him being on the IL any recent time. He's been healthy. I know he's pitched against the Braves a couple times already this year. So he's in midseason form. He should have been allowed to go get it. So I don't know. What you guys think?
Well, I see both sides of it. I see why they're getting pulled because pitching injuries are an epidemic in this league in present day. So they don't want to risk that. But at the same time, I agree with you, Ryan. I think it is bad for the game. That's to me, that's a huge aspect of baseball is if a pitcher can go for it and he's healthy enough to go for it, why not just let him do it? But again, I see why they do it, but I don't agree with it.
All right. Talk about what my friend Chris Domino said on the radio. Nobody can hardly remember name 3 people who's thrown perfect games. I could do that, but I'm a baseball, psycho. But to Chris' point, he's right. But here's the thing: I would buck back on Chris. I should have got on his show today if he'd let me on. Is if we're going to keep taxing the bullpens, and we're going to keep taxing the bullpens, if you got a guy who is shoving and shows no hard, stressful pitches, I'm going to let him go as far as he can go. Now, as soon as he walks a batter or hits a batter, I'll go get him. And now, in the case of Jerry Jones, I do think that the injury did play a fact role in it, but he was at 77. I would have tried to snuck a seventh inning in, but if I'm Don Kelly, I noticed he's traced down the runway. I think he did a bad job of that. As soon as he come off, he should have went and sat on the bench with him and said, "Hey, listen, you're not going to be able to finish this game. Our organization is not going to allow you. So let's not push it past this point." But I don't know what the words were said. But my feeling is let them go because our bullpens are taxed anyhow. So that's how our thoughts on it. Everybody asked us what we thought through our DM, so we thought we'd jump out there. Let's get to the good part. We get to the eighth inning, and there's two outs, and Mike Yastrzemski, who we keep telling everybody, he's coming. He's coming. Last week, he has a great at bat, 9-pitch at bat, hits a double that if in any most ballparks, it's out of the ballpark. But ours and theirs with the high wall is not. And then Joey Bart takes his old team, first pitch fastball, Ryan, go Jackets, into 422 feet for a home run. And basically that was going to be the ball game with our bullpen. Ryan, beautiful thing to see. And I think Joey may actually play a part as we go forward. We may actually even carry 3 catchers when Murph does get back. And Yastrzemski is starting to come out of it, Ryan.
Yeah, I was to your point on the 3 catchers. I didn't want to get rid of Heim just because I liked having that third catcher. Because I mean, our goal is when Sean Murphy is healthy for him to DH and then float to catcher and Drake to the opposite one. So I like carrying a third catcher on this roster. And Joey Bart looks to be filling the role, right? He's been a really good catcher so far. I haven't seen anything where his framing's been horrible. His blocking's been fine. His catching, his game calling, I've enjoyed watching too. And then you're adding the additions with the bat too, the big home run. He's had really good at bats, I think, since he's been in Atlanta Brave. I know he hasn't had necessarily all the hits that he would like or getting on base as much as he would want, but all I can ask of a backup catcher, call a good game, make sure you catch really well, and then have good at bats. If you're doing that, I have no complaints out of the backup catcher. And he's done that in more some. I mean, he's the reason why we won game 2. He had the big hit that drove in the 2 runs, hit it out of the ballpark, and again, another big turning point in this series that kind of helped get the guys going in the right direction. I mean, when you get one of those, what am I trying to say here? One of the contributions from a unlikely source, it's a really big boost to the team morale in general because it's not one of the big boys doing it. It's one of your guys you don't expect to really come through doing it. It really jolts the guys. So he's been really nice to have.
I'm going to tell you one thing, too, is the other thing I like, too, is when they bring a lefty reliever in and it's Dom Smith or Yaz up there, he's got a lot of pop, Aaron. And that would be nice to bring off the bench and see if you couldn't run into one of these big-time left-handed relievers. Aaron, would you like Joey Bart to stay the rest of the year?
Yeah, absolutely. And I have caught a lot of heat for being a huge advocate for keeping 3 catchers at all time. I get comments all the time like teams don't keep 3 catchers on the roster. Well, we have Sean Murphy on our roster. Love Sean Murphy, but it's unpredictable what's going to happen with his injuries. I mean, the finger thing was obviously freak accident, bad luck, but I mean, it's proving my point. We need to keep 3, and we can't keep doing this carousel of minor league guys coming in. I think Joey Bart is a great asset to have as the backup catcher, and I think we should keep him around.
I do too. So we get the game, we get it 3-0, and we go to an afternoon game, and we got 2 weird pitchers on the mound. We got Bryce Elder, who we gave him a long rest, 11 days. He'd been great. He'd been really bad in the month of June. And Mitch Keller, who has been their stalwart, He has struggled this year. He's an ERA over 5. The interesting things, they're both the same pitchers for the both teams. They have thrown the most innings, two of the 5 most innings in baseball in the last 3.5 years. Mitch Keller and Bryce Elder. Bryce is not good, neither is Mitch. Bryce goes 4 innings, gives up 3 earned runs. We're going to get to part of the problem with Bryce. Let's not get ahead of ourselves, gang. That's a whole subject. 4 runs. They have to take him out. What do you think of Bryce's start today, Ryan?
I don't. It could have been better, right? We've seen better Bryce Elder, but I will say the one positive I did like, his cutter was much better. I think he was a lot more effective to lefties overall today. Look, I know he gave up a bomb, I think, to Mangum, but again, I think overall he had better stuff today. His command's still kind of meh right now, but I can't hate on him. We've had worse from Bryce Elder, and he got in some trouble early on, and he was able to wiggle his way out of it. That's another positive because guess what? He hasn't been able to do that recently. So, for me, for me to see him getting out of trouble early on, and for him having the cutter that was had a lot better movement today. I'll take it. That's a step in the right direction, and that's what I want to see out of guys is them progressively getting back to where they should be and taking baby steps. So I'm not going to crucify Bryce. It's a step in the right direction, but we need better out of Bryce Elder than this today. But again, we will get to another problem later on with this game.
Aaron, what about Bryce?
Yeah, I definitely agree with Ryan. It could have been better, but it is not the worst that we've seen of Bryce Elder, and that is promising. Yeah, just everything that he said is exactly my thoughts. I mean, we've seen what he has done in the past month, and I was honestly, genuinely pretty worried about this start, but it went a lot better than I thought it would, obviously.
Well, let's get to the things where we get into how we absolutely crushed Mitch Keller in the Pirates bullpen, which we thought we could. We also did tell y'all, I told you on the hip coil, I worried about Bryce in this because the long rest, his sinker is not going to move like he wants it to. He did throw the cutter better. But let's get to the Drake Baldwin issue, guys. This is not we don't like Drake Baldwin. We think he should sign an extension tomorrow for 8 years. Let's get that out in the open. But Drake's got to learn a lot at catching. In this game, he's got 2 outs and 2 strikes on Brian Reynolds, and they dot a pitch. It's in the strike zone. You can even see there's no way. I first thought, because I always have the app up before the play happens, and I thought, wow, he's going to challenge that. And then when he didn't challenge, I was like, well, he must have had to reach. No, he's sitting on the inside corner. He dots it, and Drake doesn't challenge, and Drake's struggling a little bit. I know he has this great record or percentage. CJ points it out, but part of it is he don't like to challenge. And then they hit a home run. The next guy gets up, hits a home run off a slider. And then to Ryan's point, Mangum gets up there, but he's got 2 outs again, 2 strikes, and he gets a catcher's interference reaching too far. And then he had a pass ball later on in the game that was huge. He had another pass ball that didn't cost us, thank God, to Danny Young. And Drake had a rough game at the plate, but also his pitch calling. Paul Bird brought it up in the fact of why would you speed somebody's bat up when they can't catch up to a fastball? We did that all day with Jake Mangum. Jake Mangum was 4 for 5. All his hits was on off speed. We're not saying we have a Drake Baldwin problem, but he does have to have a lot to learn behind the plate, doesn't he, Ryan?
Yeah, it's kind of weird, right? Because Drake's been pretty good overall defensively and at game calling. So I'm wondering if his struggles at the plate aren't kind of coming into play behind the plate. So he's been better offensively, but you got to wonder if it's, wearing on Drake where he's spending a little bit more time in the cage. And I'm not faulting him, right? He's got to get right in the cage. Where you got to spend more time, there's the other area is going to lax a little bit, but I can't have you being a defensive toad out there behind the home plate. I just can't have it. I can't have 2 or 3 pass balls a game, buddy. I can't. Sandy Leone wasn't doing that, and he is a literal toad behind the home plate, okay? I can't have a catcher's interference. 2 reasons. 1, I can't have you getting your hand broken and you're out for 8 weeks because you broke your hand. And 2, because I don't need you putting Bryce Elder, who already isn't that great of a pitcher right now. Now, no offense, Bryce. Your numbers have not been good lately. in a worse position to where he's got to throw more pitches and somebody can take him deep because he has not been great with his stuff lately. So you need to clean up your catching. You need to clean up your game calling because I was watching at one point, we had an 0-2 count. 0-2. I think it was to Reynolds. And it was early in the game. This was before the home run. He swung on and missed on a cutter. Wasn't even close to the daggum cutter. 0-2, and we're going to go to a four-seam fastball on the inside part of the plate at 92. He's not throwing 98 miles an hour, Drake, honey. Come on. The cutter, that's perfect. It goes in, looks like the four seam, cuts in off the plate. He swings or at least gets jammed and a little easy out. Like, honey, we can't do this. You're better than that. Step it the heck up, honey.
Aaron, to his point too, though, we just lost one of the best defensive catchers in the game because of catcher's interference. That could have been bad today with Drake. What are your thoughts on Drake? It was a pretty bad defensive game today.
It was a pretty bad defensive game for him. I kind of feel like maybe this little stretch is, just an outlier, and it's all stemming from his confidence level because I'm sure he expected, just as we expected, for him to come back and be back to the rookie of the year Drake that we know, and he just hasn't yet at the plate. So I feel like that is, seeping into his game calling and his catching. And once he gets everything at the plate figured out, I feel like he will get back to being the confident game caller that he usually is.
Yeah, I agree. And like I said, we're always going to try to give you the honest truth, and that's good and bad in everything that we do, even if we win or lose. So the other good thing is our A bullpen was off today. They were off today. Fuentes is off today. Lee was off today. Iglesias was off today. The one guy out of the A bullpen that did pitch was Dodd in a big spot in the fifth inning, in a 3-2 ball game, and or what was it? No, whatever it was, 1-run game, and he went excellent. Of course, that kitty core of the bullpen back in 5 innings, 1 run, 3 hits, 3 walks, 4 strikeouts. Ryan, good job by that part of the bullpen to save the back end.
Let me tell you, I was cursing wall up and down while I was in the clinic. I was doing it under my breath, of course, because I can't be doing that inside the clinic. It was very muttered. But what my point was is why I was disappointed that you didn't see the big boys come in is because we needed this series, number one. Number two, we needed a little bit of momentum going in. And three, you have Chris Sale on the mound tomorrow. You got your ace. This is when you want to push your bullets to try to steal a game because you expect your ace to go 6, 7 innings and clean that up. So I was a little bit disappointed there. But to the boys' credit, they pitched well enough. They didn't pitch fantastic. They weren't completely lights out. They made me squeal a little bit because they made me nervous, but overall they got the job done. And we had a little bit of a surprise guy come in the ninth inning, Ken. A little hundo with a nasty cut piece. Where have you been hiding that, Alex Anthopoulos?
Mr. Menderes probably should have been up here way before Cookie. He looked great. What are your thoughts about the basically the B core of the bullpen really throwing well today?
Yeah, I think overall, they got the job done. They stressed me out a little bit, but 5 innings altogether. What was it? 1 run,
Yep.
3 walks, 3 hits, and 4 strikeouts. That's not, it's not terrible, and we got the job done. So even though they worried me a little bit, it was okay.
And I'm going to tell Chris Sale, I'm going to talk to you, Chris Sale, and he knows I'm saying the same thing. Part of the reason why he has to do this, Ryan, is he cannot count on him going 6 and 7. He's not got through 6 innings. And if the Chris Sale was getting through 7 innings, 100%, he would have probably used Dylan Lee at the end of this ball game. He would have probably used him, but we can't count on it right now. So let's go to the hitting side, and we'll leave the last hitter because he was tremendous defensively, and Ryan wants to speak on something on him. Let's go to the other ones, though. Olsen hit a home run in the first inning. He was 1 for 3. Everybody doesn't know whether it rode in the river or didn't roll in the river. We still don't know, but he had a bomb. He had 2 walks, RBI, 2 runs scored. Baldwin, Drake's coming out of it, too. He's 2 for 4, run, RBI, walk. Then Yaz, 1 for 3, 2 runs, 6-5 ball game. We'll get to the guy they were able to walk to. They walked Don Smith to get to Austin Riley. Austin, that should tell you everything how everybody's judging you right now. And he just wipes him out. 1, 2, 3, strikeout. but he forgot about Don Kelly. Forgot about Yaz is getting right. He hits a grand slam almost out of the stadium, Ryan, and you can just see the whole team like, okay, yeah, this could be the another turning point. Grant start, Yaz's home run. This team could take off right here, Ryan.
Yeah, I sent you the message. I was like, that might be the turning point right here to get this ship sailing in the right direction. I mean, because it's been, what, 5, 6 weeks where these guys have been grinding. I mean, you can go back to the last two games against the Mets, right? We battled our rear ends off. We came within one run each game. We couldn't get the big hit to get the win, right? Here we are. Yes, we're up 6-5, but we're short in the pin. Iglesias is going to probably come in to try to close it out, but how tired is he going to be? Is he going to have his A plus stuff? Is he going to have good command? You don't know. So when Yaz hits that home run, it's just a big sigh of relief to the guys because they're like, we finally got the big hit that we needed. It lightened the whole mood up in the dugout. Walt got on the phone and told Iglesias to take a seat and got the other kid warming up in the bullpen to save him. It's something that this team has been desperately looking for the last 6 weeks, and they finally got it. Jarvis was huge at shortstop, by the way, today. He had a big double play that he turned. He also hit a big bomb. It was a very good game. It was something that everybody needed. We needed production out of the shortstop. We needed a big hit from somebody. Yaz provided that, but we had a lot of big hits today. Dubon early in the game with 2 outs drove in a run that we needed. I mean, it was just multiple. They played a really good baseball game today, through and through. It was very fun to watch today.
And the thing is, Dubon bunts that sinker coming right out of his belt. That's not an easy play to bunt. That made him walk Don Smith. So good job by Mauricio. Ryan's so excited to talk about this guy, but we're going to wait on him. Let's talk about the guys we talked about here, Aaron. Really good job by the offense. And you could just see when Yaz hit the home run, you could just see the team just like, watch this, the dugout reaction. You just see it's like, okay, yes, 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 yes. We're finally going to get this thing going, Aaron. And I think all of Braves Nation said the same thing. Bang, boom. What about you?
Yeah, I wholeheartedly agree. I feel like that is going to be a huge boost of morale and momentum for all of them because it feels like, they're getting back to that team that we saw back in April and May that just refuses to lose and finds ways to win, and everybody contributes, and you don't know who's going to be contributing on what night because they all do it. That I feel like we are working our way back to that little by little, and I am happy to see it.
I'm telling you what, this team I think is fixing to go on a row, and we'll get to the series if it's come up. Now let's talk about who was the MVP of the day. We seen Mr. Jarvis, JJ. He had him a day. 3 for 5, double, home run, 2 RBI, single. And my most impressive at bat was they let him hit against the lefty, who's very tough. Soto is a very tough lefty, and he did not fear him. He hit a ground ball to second, one of his weaker outs. I told Ryan, I said, that was impressive. And maybe he'll get more bats against left-handed. Defensively, Ryan touched on it. He made play after play after the double play he turned like Walt Weiss said. Walt Weiss should know. He played shortstop. That's almost impossible to turn. Almost impossible. He's probably only about 10% of shortstops could have made that double play. I'm just telling you guys. It couldn't be done. Most of them wouldn't even try to run to second. They just would have threw the ball on the first. With that said, after the game, Jim talked about he went to Tim Hires this morning, met him this morning. I'm going to get Ryan to speak on that. But, Aaron, go ahead right now. Take Jim Jarvis Day, 2026. What a day.
Yep. And you want to know who he looked like to me? Prime Dansby Swanson defensively.
He did. He looked good. He looked good. All right, Ryan, you're the hitting guru. You said you broke down what he said afterwards. Talked to his defense, talked to the great day, but you said you saw it quickly what Tim Hires did.
Yep. I do plan on making a video. I'll give y'all a little bit of a tidbit here just to keep you going. Obviously, Jimmy said it was in his hips, and it was. What I will say is his head was a lot more still today. It was a lot more still. He was having a really bad time of loading into that back hip, and Tim said, hey, come here. Just do this. Let's just rotate into that back hip a little bit and see how well your head stays still. And that's exactly what he did. His head, y'all are going to see it on the video, I mean, nobody, I wasn't paying attention to Jim Jarvis. No offense to Jimmy, right? Like, you're just, like, we all expect you to come up here 500 OPS, play really good defense. That's what we were expecting. Kudos to Tim Hires for going in there and saying, hey, if I make this adjustment, this kid might really take off for us. And he went in there. They worked on the field today. He took it in batting practice, said it was great. His head wasn't moving. I'm telling you, it was like 4 inches of head movement. That's why he was getting jammed. That's why everything was getting popped up or he was rolling over because he had way too much head movement. Today, coiled into that back hip. He anchored himself back so as he was striding forward, his head stayed still. And when you do that, you're not adding 3 or 4 miles an hour for every inch. So when you're moving your head that much, you're turning 98 into like 110. Okay, even an 88-mile-an-hour slider is becoming a 96-mile-an-hour slider. So for you to keep your head that still, for these guys, it puts everything in slow motion and makes them allows them to make really good decisions at the plate. And Jim, he had a great day. Good decisions, good approach at the plate. He had great takes. He was absolutely fantastic. Now the question is, can he continue this? We will not know until Walt Weiss says, "Go have fun, kid. Go play shortstop for a month for us until we figure out what the hell is going on with Kim down there and on the IL." But that dude right now is my starting shortstop. That's unbelievable defense that Kim's not providing. He's got speed that Kim can't provide. He's got athleticism that I don't think Kim can provide anymore, and he's got a stick that I don't think even Kim can provide anymore, Ken. So y'all tune into the on the hip coil. That's where we'll be dropping that little video. I'll put it out on X at some point later this weekend, more than likely. But it was very interesting to see. I picked up on that like really quick. I watched one video and then watched today, and I was like, wow, that's a huge difference. So kudos to Tim Hires. That's why Tim Hires is not the problem. It's the players that are the problem. Thank you.
We'll go ahead and get into the MVP and the play of the series. Before that, I'll do it this time. Austin Riley, I'm talking to you. It's all on you, buddy, because everybody goes to Tim Hires, gets fixed. Go to Tim Hires. I don't know who you're going to, but go to Tim Hires and let him fix you. Let's go to the MVP of the series and the play of the series. Let's start with the MVP of the series first. Rhino, who you got?
Grant Holmes is my MVP for the series. We needed a dude to step up in the starting rotation. We needed one of Waldrop, Grant, or Bryce. Bryce couldn't do it. Hurston, poor soul, he couldn't do it. Grant says, I'll give you everything I got, and shoved for 5 innings, and God, did we need it. That is my MVP of the series. I know that, look, Jimmy could have been it. I know Michael Harris had a great series. I know Yaz hit the big homer. Matt Olson was fantastic, but we needed pitching. I'm going with a pitcher, Ken. You should be proud of me for not taking an offensive piece.
I'm always proud when we pick pitching. Erin, what do you got? Who's the MVP?
Yeah, Ryan took mine, but I mean, with obviously good reason. Grant Holmes, MVP of the series. He did exactly what the Braves needed him to do, and I give him all the flowers for that. It was a pivotal moment in the series, and it's going to be a pivotal game in the rest of the season, like you said.
Yeah, it could turn our whole season around, so that's a really good deal. I got to do it, guys. I'm sorry. His fellow Jackets. I'm going to go Joey Bart's 2-run homer. I got to give him some love, so I got to go to hell with Georgia. All y'all out there, all you Bulldog fans, you had to root for a Jacket. I love it. Joey Bart, appreciate you, buddy. I always loved you, so I'm glad you're here, and I hope you stay for a long time. Play of the series, Ryan. What was the play of the series?
Had multiple plays of the series, man. You could have gone with the Joey Bart bomb. You could have gone with the Yaz bomb. You could have gone with, I don't know, Jim Jarvis having a great double play up the middle. I'm going with Yaz, though. Yaz hitting the grand slam that gave us the cushion in the late innings because everybody was their sphincter was getting tight. Let's just say that. Mine was tight. I know that. So for Yaz to come up in that situation, clear the bases, I know weight was lifted off my shoulders. I can only imagine how it was in the dugout. And I think that's going to really propel this team to a really hot streak heading into the All-Star break, Ken. So, Yaz, you got my moment. I would like to say honorable mention to the Pittsburgh Pirates. Ryan O'Hearn making MLB history deserves some credit there. I mean, driving in your team's first 10 runs has never been done in the history of Major League Baseball. Tip of that cap to you because I don't care if you got 3 BP fastballs. It's hard to put 3 in a row in the seats. So tip of the hat. And I wish the Buccos nothing but the best unless we meet them in the playoffs. And then I hope you lose terribly every single time. Thank you.
I'm with you. I think they got to play the Phillies again. I hope they and the Marlins hope they beat both of them. I will say this: if the Pirates would have won today, Ryan O'Hearn would have been the MVP. So, play of the series, Aaron.
Well, I really am tempted to pick Yaz, but I am going to go with Joey Bart's two-run homer because I feel like that play, which, broke up the no-hitter, that kind of really catapulted the rest of that game as well as today's game. So I'm going Joey Bart.
I love Aaron. She's one of my favorites. Anytime we go Jackets, I'm going to go with Jim Jarvis's double play. I think it's really known. And first of all, good job by Danny getting the sinker down, getting the ground ball. That's what you're supposed to do. But I think Walt's right. I'll take it from a fellow shortstop. I was a third baseman, and he said that play is almost impossible to make for a double play. And who knows what happens if they're first and third. So I'll go that. So let's get to the series coming up. Going to St. Louis, it's going to be hot. It's always hot in St. Louis, especially. I always want to send us there before the All Star. It's ridiculous. So we get the Cardinals, jump on the hip coil. We're going to break down their pitching matchups. It's Kyle Leahy, Matthew Liberatore, don't get me started on him, and Dustin May. And we're going to throw Chris Sale, Reynaldo Lopez, and the kid's going to get to redeem himself Sunday. Ryan, thoughts on the matchup and your prediction?
Like the pitching max-ups for games 1 and 2. I'm worried about Waldrop in 3. Hurston, represent the 229 very well in that game. Please, good sir. Thank you. I'm going 2 out of 3. I don't think we get the sweep because it's always hard to sweep an MLB team, but I think definitely 2 out of 3. I like the way we're swinging the bats better, Ken. So we should do well against Matthew Liberatore. God, please, I can't take it if we don't. Defense has been really good. I haven't been Baldwin clean it up, and bullpen's been rock solid here lately. So I like us heading in here. I like the two guys that we got at the front end, and Raylo and Sale. Sale, need you to go 7. Raylo, give me 5 and 6 and dive. And back into the bullpen, like I said, it's been good. I think we win 2 out of 3. I like it.
All right, I'm not going to try to influence Aaron before I give mine, but the Cardinals have going to have played 5 games in 4 days, so their bullpen will be definitely taxed. I'm sure they've been bringing people up. But what is your prediction for the series?
I'm also going to say 2 out of 3. I am definitely nervous about the May Waldrop matchup, but yeah, I think we could take 2 from them.
Yeah, the May Waldrop, and anytime it's a getaway day, it's rough anyhow, but especially before the All Star break. So I'm going to go 2 out of 3. Name to keep an eye on from the St. Louis Cardinals. Jordan Walker is red hot. He's almost got a 900 OPS right now. So let's not let him beat us. Kind of way Juan Soto beat us in Atlanta, because one great player can beat you in baseball if you pitch the wrong time. Rocio Iglesias, I'm talking to you. And so, Ryan, who is your pick to click in the Cardinal series offensively that's going to drive us home?
Money Mike, man, he's pissed off that he didn't make the All-Star team. He's pissed the hell off, and he is going to absolutely torch the Cardinals for it. He already torched the Pirates. Pirates were just laying out the red carpet for him to get on that plane, if you will. And St. Louis is going to be ushering him out of the stadium after Game 3. He's going to go off. I like Money Mike in this series, Ken. That is my pick to click.
Before we get Aaron's pick, on the pitching side, watch Dylan Lee pitch this weekend. He also deserves to be in Philadelphia, and I expect he seems like he's been pitching mad since then. He has not had one guy put the ball in play since they announced he was not an All-Star. That's pretty impressive. He's got 9 batters, 9 and 8 strikeouts. So we'll take that all day, Mr. Lee. All right, Aaron, who's your pick to click?
I think I'm gonna go with Yaz. I think he's gonna historically he seems to have this trend of once he goes big for a couple of games. So I'm going Yaz.
Ken, you can't switch. You can't switch. You already did the coil.
I picked Yaz on the coal, Aaron. So great pick. Me and her have great minds. We think alike. So that's right. So I'm going to go Yastrzemski. He's really swinging. He can be huge for us down the stretch. I'm talking about huge. As the Royals fans, he carried them to a playoff. I mean, he can be really good, and that's what we need him to be. So that's our predictions. That's our pick. We'll get out of here on final thoughts tonight. Ryan, what's your final thought?
boys ride this nice wave of momentum from Pittsburgh into St. Louis, carry it through the All-Star break, and beat the crap out of everybody after the All-Star break. And we're going to ride into October really high.
I like it. How about you, Aaron?
Yeah, I'm ready to see what's going to happen in the next couple, well, the couple of days before the All-Star break and then the week after. I feel like things are going to really be turning around and I'm looking forward to seeing it.
I am too, and this is just for some mental health for y'all. During the 4 day All Star break is a good time to take a break from social media and banging your head against the counter. Take a break. I can 100% guarantee you there will not be one trade made between Monday and Wednesday because they're going to take a break as well. They're going to all convene out there. You may want to jump back on Thursday and get riding high as we have the Rangers come to town, but this is a good time to take a mental break. I used to get off social media for the 3 days. Now we got this podcast. I won't be able to do that. But y'all should take a break and just relax, okay? We all hear you. We all hear all the things that need to be done. Jump on the trade pod later on today. We're going to tell you what that is. We appreciate you. We're going to get out of here. Love you, Braves country. And as always, peace.
You know what, boys? You guys are going to be world champions for the rest of your life.